In Start, we meet Olive, who is a marine diver whose job is to go into the depths of the sea and research the life there. For this work, a suit was specially designed that went deep into the sea and was used to research the environment below. This suit was made by Dr. Fajr. Olive was very excited. After taking the details of the mission, she is allowed to go into the depths of the sea. It was the first time she had come so low. Her suit system was attached to her ship above, which was being controlled by the specialist Dara. Olive did not see anything special until then, so Olive demanded to go deeper. But she was warned that it was not right to go there. The suit was not tested in such a depth. Olive says very confidently, "If the test is not done, it will be done now. Put it down." As she went deeper, she began to feel that there was something around her that she could not see. She asked to turn on the lights in fear. As soon as the lights were turned on, it was shown that someone had attacked Olive. This happened immediately after the lights were turned on. So it can be said that whatever it was afraid of light. Due to this attack, many of the suit systems had failed. Dara's people saw that the system was failing and let Olive go up. But because Olive was in a lot of fear, it took time to come up, and it was seen that the whole suit of Olive was now filled with water. She was in a state of death due to being in water for a long time without oxygen. But at the right time, Dara saved her life, and then the doctors checked her up. She was asked what she had seen below or what had attacked you. Even after remembering a lot, Olive did not remember anything. The doctor said that Olive has short-term memory loss. Due to not reaching the oxygen brain for a long time, the brain was not working actively. It was normal and it would be fine over time. After the checkup, Olive is made to meet Dr. Fajr, who was angry at him. Dr. Fajr said that why did you take the suit so deep without permission? It was destroyed for the first time and millions of dollars were wasted on it. The company had suffered a great loss. Olive was fired from the job due to her willpower. Although Olive liked her job very much, she wanted to find something in marine life that would make her better in the world. Anyway, when she went to see the suit and collect her stuff, she found this black liquid on her suit. It was sticky. After seeing the suit completely, she found a black thing inside it. Maybe it was the same creature that attacked Olive. Olive quickly hid this creature so that the world would see her creature from her side for the first time, and let it be known that she has found out about her creature. The company had already fired her, so it was useless to give this thing to the company. Hiding it in the toolbox, she took her creature with her to her house. Her husband was very happy to see her. We came to know about Olive's personal life. Olive's husband used to keep an eye on her. He wanted Olive to always be with him, but Olive loved her job more, so she used to stay with her work more, and her husband didn't have much objection to this. Anyway, it was morning. Matthew went to work. Olive came and cleaned her lab, and she started seeing that black thing in it. It looked like an egg, but there were some tentacles around it. As soon as she saw it in the light, strange sounds started coming out of it. Before she could understand it, she heard the sound of Matthew coming home, and she immediately hid her creature. Actually, Olive didn't want her husband to know that she has brought a creature to her house. Olive and Matthew spend the whole day together. The next day, as soon as Matthew goes to work, Olive comes to her lab. When she came to the lab, she saw that the creature she had brought was broken like an egg. There was a black liquid everywhere. Suddenly, she heard the sound of someone's ring. When she turned around, she saw that the creature coming out of the egg was roaming in this room. When Olive touched it, it got scared and went ahead. And so Olive understood that these people are afraid of light. Obviously, there is darkness in the depths of the sea. That's why these people can survive there. However, as soon as Olive goes to see it closely and puts light on its mouth, the creature drops a black liquid on its mouth. This liquid also went into Olive's mouth, and Olive's condition was very strange. She was lying there for a long time. And as soon as she heard Matthew's voice, she got up quickly. She tried her best to clean her eyes, and then, while cleaning this room, she hid her creature and left. Matthew had planned a surprise dinner for Olive. These people got ready and went for dinner, where Matthew noticed that Olive was behaving very well today. She didn't say anything during the whole dinner, and she ate the food as if she had been hungry for centuries. Olive also told her to eat comfortably, but she didn't listen. She came home and vomited black, and when she lay on the bed, she didn't pay attention to Matthew at all. Now in her mind, the creature was talking in Nai. The morning, Olive called her colleague Dara and showed her this creature. Dara told her that you have never discovered this creature before. It is a monster that lives in the sea, and it has been seen before. Dara told Olive that it is very dangerous. It is not safe to keep it at home. It is better that you tell your husband about it. But after hearing this, Olive got angry, and she told Dara that you don't tell anyone about it. I will take care of it myself. Now when it was confirmed to Olive that it was a monster, she tried to feed it a lot of meat, but all kinds of meat do not work. Suddenly, while cutting the meat, a cut was found on Olive's hand. The blood that came out of her hand smelled, as if the monster was suffering, as if she wanted the same thing. Olive also understood what this monster wanted. That's why she spilled her blood on this monster. She found out that this monster doesn't want meat. She wants human flesh. But where does she get it from? In the middle of the night, she gets up and hides from Matthew and makes this monster suck her blood, as if this monster has taken control of her. She was doing all the weird things. She was spending most of her time with this creature, and as if she had forgotten Matthew. After a long time, her sister also came to meet her at her house. Ellie brought a lot of wine for her and Matthew. When they were enjoying, Ellie also noticed that Olive, her sister, was staying away from Matthew. After Matthew left, she asked Olive, "Is there something wrong between you and Matthew?" To which Olive clearly refused, that there is nothing like that. In the meantime, Olive gets a call, and she goes to receive the call. This call was from Dr. Fajay, who tells her that whatever you have stolen from my ship, you bring it back. Otherwise, I can file a case against you. Olive understood that Dr. Fajay was talking about that monster, and it must have been Dara who told Dr. Fajay about that monster. Olive understood that it was Dr. Fajay's operation. Everything she got from the sea, Dr. Fajay had a right on it, and she also knew that if she did not return all this to Dr. Fajay, then she may have to go to jail and may have to go to court. Standing behind, Ellie had heard a little about him. Seeing him worried, she asks him, but instead of talking properly, she sends Ellie away in anger. Matthew was also surprised. What did Olive do? She was not so bad. It was seen that Olive also had a lot of changes. Like that monster used to have trouble seeing in the light. Similarly, Olive also started having trouble seeing in the light. She used to wear sunglasses everywhere. In the evening, when Olive came home after the grocery shopping, she saw that Dr. Fajay had already come to her house. She understood that Dr. Fajay had come to see and take the monster. Dr. Fajay saw the monster and told her, "It can be dangerous to keep it at home. I am taking it with me." Olive felt strange from the monster. She did not know what happened to her when she heard the noise. She felt strange, and she came close. She picked up a stone and hit the head of Dr. Fajay. Before Dr. Fajay gets up from here and does something, before he leaves from here and saves his life. Olive feeds the monster. She comes to the washroom and starts changing her clothes, on which Dr. Fajay's blood had been applied. She started crying because she had taken the life of a person, but she was not doing all this by herself. Maybe the monster had controlled her. After taking a bath, she goes to the washroom, and from there she cleanses all Dr. Fajay's blood, and she throws Dr. Fajay's remaining bones and clothes into the sea. While cleaning, she found Dr. Fajay's locker keys from Dr. Fajay's clothes. She took it to Dr. Fajay's boat and went there and stole all the documents, in which it was written about his mission, and then set the boat on fire, so that all the clues are erased. That she came here or she met a monster. When Olive was on this work, Ellie came to her house from behind and went to her secret lab. Actually, she wanted to see Olive's project, because Matthew even told her not to go. Olive would get angry before she could see any creature there. Olive came there at the right time, and Ellie started getting angry, looking at her from behind. Ellie controlled her anxiety and started explaining to Olive, "What do you do in this lab all day? Do you even know how worried and lonely Matthew is because of your behavior?" Here Olive does not listen to her and tells Ellie to go from here while having dinner together. Matthew tells Olive about his patient, which she could not say, and Matthew was having a lot of trouble dealing with her. Matthew was a doctor. After listening to this, Olive's eyes started shining, as if she had a big plan in her mind, but she did not show this to Matthew. The next morning, she took Matthew's ID and went to the hospital, and from there, putting the patient in the car, she started walking towards the house. But before that, Matthew saw her. She got scared, but thank God, Matthew did not see that the patient is now in Olive's car. Olive quickly closed the trunk. When Matthew asked her, "Why did you come here?" So Olive quickly gave her her ID and said, "You forgot this at home. I just came to give you this." As soon as she comes home, she feeds this lady to her monster. She thought that now her problem was solved. To keep her creature with her, she just had to find some people who she could kill and feed her creature. After killing that woman, when she was cleaning the blood from the ground, she did not know what happened to her. She started licking the blood with her fingers. Now she was completely lost in this monster's life. Now the next day, she did not find anyone to kill her when she came out. She saw Matthew sleeping. She even thought that she should kill Matthew. But she did not kill him. After all, Matthew was her husband. As soon as the morning came, she went to Dara, to her colleague, the one who told this to Dr. Fajay, that she has a monster. Here, Dara apologizes to her, that I did this wrong. Olive also forgives her, and pretends, as if she does not have any problem now. She wants to show her something, in the same way. While talking, she took Dara to her house, and killed her too, and fed her monster. Till now, no one had a clue that Olive has started working so hard. She has started murdering, and in this serial killing, she started enjoying. Now, this night, Ellie comes to her house. Ellie actually came to tell that she is leaving the city, on which Olive gave a very cold reply, that yes, everyone should work. Leaving Olive. Matthew and Ellie started talking to each other. Matthew was very upset, because he had a patient guide, and because that patient was his responsibility, so he could have been fired from the job. Ellie cheered him up. But she also noticed that Olive has no problem with her husband's problems. Anyway, Olive went back to her lab and started working with the monster, while Ellie went to Matthew's room to cheer her up. Here in the lab, Olive noticed that her creature is pregnant. Seeing this, she was very happy. In excitement, she wanted to tell this to Matthew and Ellie, but there was no one at home, and she heard some sounds from upstairs when she went to her room. Matthew and Ellie were together. Seeing this, she got very angry. And while picking up something, she attacked Matthew and made him unconscious. After that, she took Ellie to her lab and tied him up there. Ellie didn't know about the monster's creature. She was begging her sister. She was asking her to leave her. But Olive didn't listen and closed the door. There was a monster inside. She knew it would eat her to save her life. Here, Ellie dropped a toolbox as soon as it fell. The toolbox opened, and she saw a sharp blade. Ellie was trying to bring it closer. And in this, her leg was cut, and her blood was coming out. With the smell of blood, the monster was suffering here, before. It would come to Ellie, smelling the smell of blood. Ellie quickly tied her handkerchief on the cut of her leg and started cutting her ropes. On the other side, Matthew also came to his senses. As soon as he came to his senses, he asked Olive. Without saying anything, Olive asked another question. "Are you in love with Ellie?" As soon as Matthew said yes, in anger, Olive opened the door of the lab and threw Matthew there. The creature that was coming to eat Ellie, it grabbed and ate Matthew. Seeing such a dangerous scene in front of her eyes, Ellie was very scared and started crying loudly. Her life was in danger. She was calling Olive again and again for her help and listening to her scared voice. Outside, Olive was laughing at Matthew, the monster, after finishing its food, was sleeping. Ellie had to leave here to save her life. She was trying to open her ropes when we were shown here that Olive was making sketches of that monster when Ellie couldn't break her ropes. she started making noises again and again, so that someone would listen to her and come here to help her. Olive, in anger, went to her room and said, "What are you making noises? It's time for my monster to rest." Ellie, looking at her sister's selfish face. "You don't feel anything? What is this thing?" "To feed it. You killed your husband, and now you want to kill your own sister." Olive replied, "He is God. He has a lot of powers. No one has awakened his powers yet. He lives in the depths of the sea. No one has seen him yet, and he has chosen me to awaken his powers. I work on his orders." After listening to her, Ellie was saying, "Olive, you have gone mad." Olive, listening to her. Olive, listening to her, went inside and picked up an egg of the same monster, which she was loving, as if it was her child. Olive was sure. That creature will kill anyone, but it won't kill Olive, because Olive is raising it. But Olive's thinking was wrong, because in Olive's hand, its egg, because in Olive's hand, its egg was there. And now the monster was hungry again. So it attacked Olive from behind and cut it into 2 pieces. Suddenly the lights were off, and as soon as the lights were off, the creature started moving around. Ellie understood that a creature becomes blind in light, so she lit a lighter near her and started making loud noises. She was lucky that her neighbors heard her and came home and opened the door, which spread light all over the room, and Ellie's life was saved. That man also saw that the monster opened its big mouth and was about to attack Ellie. He immediately called the police station. As soon as night fell, Olive's entire house was sealed. Ellie was also rescued, and she got all the information about the monster. These people wanted to take the monster in their custody, but they didn't find the monster anywhere. Now, because they didn't find the monster anywhere. So all of Ellie's talks became a lie to them, and they thought that Ellie has gone mad. Ellie was admitted to a mental asylum when we were shown in the post-credits scene that the creature was going somewhere. Maybe it was going back to its home. Once Ellie saw in the news that a lot of people are disappearing in the middle. She got scared hearing this and immediately took a car. When she went to the beach, she saw monster eggs everywhere, and she understood that the monster has gone here and the destruction of the world is near. As soon as she thought about it, the waves of water became fast and the monster comes in front of her. As soon as the monster comes out. With this mysterious ending, this film ends. That how will this monster spread medicine in this world? Or all the people will die.